What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got an insane entitled parent story. You're not gonna believe it. Mum sent me a bill for raising me for $250,000. I've had a bit of good financial luck in my late 20s and 30s. My dad died in 2007 and my mum has been riding his life insurance settlement into the ground. She overspent 3 brand new Mercedes among a ton of other idiotic purchases since 2007 and is now having to Airbnb her house to make ends meet. In the past 4 months, I've given her over $5 grand to keep her afloat. Today I received an itemized bill in the mail totaling lodging, food, schooling, entertainment and vacation expenses that she incurred since the time I was born. The bill exceeded $250,000. I called her this evening to congratulate her on her hilarious joke when it became clear that she wasn't joking and indeed felt entitled to $253,032.56 of my money. Her reasoning: I wouldn't be worth 1/10 of what I am now without her influence. She said, "You can afford to lose that kind of money. Why not just give it to me before you throw it away?" This is one of the many reasons that there are more than 2,000 miles in between my front door and hers. This is the last reason I needed to never give her another penny of my money. I've got a therapy appointment on Monday. I can't wait to bring this BS up. Well, you know what, OP? If I were you, I'd send her a bill for the price of that therapy session because of what she's done to you. Like, can you imagine if, when you turned into an adult, you had to pay your parents back for the 18 years of your childhood? All the food, school, entertainment, everything? That would be insane. What a ludicrous mum. Now for our second story. I was born lactose intolerant and my parents decided not to tell me. I just read a story that reminded me of my own parents, so here goes. Backstory: I am also a member of the subreddit r/raised by narcissists, so I am very aware of my parents, particularly my dad, being less than ideal, but this one shook me to the core when I learned it because of its sheer effect on my life. So anyway, on to the story. Ever since I can remember, anytime I would drink milk or eat ice cream, I would get a terrible stomachache and diarrhea. We went out to eat a lot, and being a little kid, my parents would order me milk to drink, give me mac and cheese, and then ice cream for dessert, which would result in me having to make the customary trip to the bathroom in terrible pain and explosive diarrhea every single time. Oh god. It got to the point where my parents started teasing me about wanting to see the bathroom and pooping it wherever we went. I would also have the same problem after lunch at school until one of my teachers accused me of making excuses to get out of class at the same time every day. It was awful. I was just told that I had the family stomach and that I needed to deal with it. So fast forward to high school. This is still going on and we go out to dinner with a new friend of my mum's who says that she is lactose intolerant. And being the very curious person that I am, I ask her about it because I've heard of it before but never understood what it was or what the symptoms were. She tells me that she experiences terrible gas pains and diarrhea if she drinks milk or has a lot of dairy. At this point my ears perk up and I'm like, you mean that's not normal? And I start thinking that maybe I am lactose intolerant too. So I start doing a little bit of experimenting and avoid milk for a few weeks, and guess what? No more stomach aches. So I tell my parents that I think I may be lactose intolerant, and my dad, ever the gaslighter, says, "No, you're not. You're just saying that for the attention." So I go back to thinking that I am not lactose intolerant for the next several years and go back to having the stomach problems. Fast forward again to college, I run into a few new people that are lactose intolerant, and being recently freed from the ironclad controlling nature of my father, I decided to actually research it for myself and do some experimenting again. So I researched and found that I have all of the classic symptoms of lactose intolerance and experiment by not just avoiding dairy, but actually going to the store and buying the lactose pills that help you digest lactose and taking them anytime I drank milk or ate ice cream. Guess what? It helped. No more gas pains and constant diarrhea. So I go home and this is the conversation I had with my parents. "Hey mum and dad, so I'm pretty sure that I'm lactose intolerant because I have all the symptoms and I've been using the lactose pills when I eat dairy and they've been helping." "You're not lactose intolerant. You're just saying that to get attention." My mum interrupts my dad. "Oh, I know that you're lactose intolerant. You have been since you were born. You had to have soy formula when you were a baby because if you had dairy formula, you projectile vomited everywhere." What? I have always known that you were lactose intolerant. I just didn't want to tell you because I didn't think it would make any difference and I thought you would use it to get attention." I am absolutely speechless. Yeah, I am too. I couldn't believe it. I had literally been lactose intolerant since birth and they had never told me and just let me suffer. Here's the kicker though. After hearing from my mum that I was lactose intolerant from birth, My father wholeheartedly accepted it and even started bragging to other people that I was lactose intolerant, and loudly asking me if I wanted to drink the lactose-free milk that his friend's daughter was drinking because she's lactose intolerant too. My dad's behavior is and always will be very confusing to me, but I hope this was entertaining to read. I mean, it was, yes, it was. What have I just read? Yes, it definitely was entertaining, but what is your dad doing? What is your mum doing? I mean, at least your mum admits that you are lactose intolerant. Did your dad really not know? I'm sorry to say, OP, your dad seems so stupid. What is wrong with him? You know what? If I were you, OP, I would down a massive milkshake, get a really upset stomach, and then go and just poop on their bed. See how your parents like it. That's what I say. By the way, don't actually do this, anyone that is actually lactose intolerant. Now for our final story. Woman assumes I'm a teen mother when I'm looking after my niece. I shut her down. So my cousin is in town for Christmas/New Year's, and she has the most adorable little girl. My cousin is in her 20s and married. She still had a few more days until she leaves, so she asked me if I wanted to spend more time with her and my niece by inviting me to a kids museum/play place. Her husband couldn't come because he wanted to do some work. Now bear in mind, in this story guys, OP is 17 years old. It's almost lunchtime, so my cousin goes to order some food for us. My niece isn't very good in lines or at waiting in general, so she and I head over to this toddler's play area to pass the time. She immediately goes to the slide and I follow. I start to help her walk up the stairs to the slide. At this point, an entitled mum and her family walked over because one of her kids, her second kid, wanted to go on this slide as well. The entitled mum takes one look at me and my niece and says this: "Kids, this is what happens when you aren't responsible. You'll end up like her." She gestures towards me, a single teen mum. "You won't be able to go to college because of the kid, and then your dating life will be in the dumps because of the kid. I wouldn't want to be her. Ugh." I really wanted to say something, but I wanted to listen to what the kid had to say. My niece, Elle, is finally ready to slide, so I go around to wait at the bottom to catch her. Now, the entitled mum's first child, who is about 13 or 14, says, "Mum, are you sure that she's a mum?" "Yes, I'm sure, because this is practically a little kid space. Why else would she be here? And also, they're the only Chinese people here." I'm actually Korean, as mentioned in my earlier Reddit posts. My niece finally comes down the slide and I catch her. I really hope that she would be interested in playing somewhere else, but nope, she toddles around to wait to climb up the steps of the slide. She signs, my cousin taught her baby sign language, that she wants water, and I say, "Mum will give you water soon, we still have to wait," in Korean because my niece has mainly been talked to in Korean and understands it better. The entitled mum scoffs at this as well and says, "Well, of course she's a freaking illegal too." Then she continues in a condescending tone, "She ran all the way here because life in those Asian countries is awful." As the entitled mum's second kid went down the slide, the entitled mum kept looking at me in disgust, and her older kid looked at me sympathetically. I sigh because I really can't keep my mouth shut in situations like these. Well, I don't blame you. First of all, this is my niece. I'm here because it would be irresponsible to let her play by herself, and her mum, my cousin, is ordering lunch for us. I help my niece up the last step of the slide and run to the end of the slide to catch her again. Second of all, single teen mums can make it work. I've seen news stories of some who did manage to go to college, and there are many others who couldn't but are thriving now. Third of all, I was born and raised here. I'm talking to my niece in Korean because she understands Korean better than English. I catch my niece after she slides down and put her on my hip. I see my cousin waving me over to come and eat. I've also been accepted into a few colleges already, so please don't assume things about people just from first glance. My niece then waves and points at my cousin. Mama! She was actually saying whatever those Korean letters are, which is her word for food, but the entitled mum took it as her saying mama, which worked too. I say in that one voice that most of us use with babies and animals, "I know, that's mama, let's go." My niece is kicking her legs to be let down, so I put her on the ground and she toddles over to my cousin. And like I mentioned earlier, my cousin is older than me, and my niece looks just like her, so there was no doubt who actually was her mum. In the time that his mother or older sister wasn't paying attention to him, the second younger kid managed to start eating handfuls of dirt and wood chips. I would also pay attention to your own kid rather than criticizing and mocking someone else. I know that I will never be as amazing at shutting a person down ever again. I then went and had a delicious lunch as I told my cousin about what had just happened. We both laughed and the entitled mum kept shooting us dirty glances as we ate, but whatever. I feel bad for the older kid because she didn't seem entitled, and I hope that she turns out differently from her mother. I also feel bad for the younger kid because, well, splinters and germs. Alright, one question just automatically springs to mind when I read this story. Has this entitled mum never heard of babysitting? Like, come on, lady. Some of these people, honestly, guys, what is going on? Like, firstly, she gets it wrong. Secondly, why is she so bitter? Just go on about your life. No one cares about you. Don't care about anyone else. OP, well done. You handled that like a pro. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/Entitled Parents on my channel. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, like this video, comment your opinions on the stories down below, and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. If you want more videos from me, click the one on screen right away. Trust me, you won't regret it. With that being said, I will see you guys all tomorrow with a brand new video on the channel.